The mind is the greatest touch point because it is the gateway through which everything else flows. When you touch a woman's mind, you are not simply exchanging words, you are creating impressions, planting seeds, and shaping how she sees not only you, but also herself, her future, and the possibilities around her. A woman's mind is like fertile ground. Whatever thoughts, emotions, and ideas you feed into it will eventually grow and take shape in her reality. If you approach with negativity, doubt, or shallow intentions, that is exactly what will grow. But if you come with vision, with clarity, with purpose, you awaken her to think beyond where she is and into a world she may not have considered before. That is why the true connection begins in the mind. It is not about physical presence, it is about mental stimulation. It is about sparking curiosity, about making her question, about offering perspectives she may never have considered. When you can engage the mind, you open the door to everything else because the mind is the place where every experience begins. When a woman hears you speak with intention, when she recognizes that your words carry substance, her mind begins to respond. She starts to lean in not because of the sound of your voice alone, but because of the vibration behind the words. The mind thrives on stimulation, and stimulation does not always mean entertainment. It means presenting ideas that challenge, inspire, and expand. Imagine the difference between someone who repeats what everyone else says and someone who introduces thoughts that awaken. The latter creates impact. The mind remembers moments when it has been stretched, when it has been shown a higher possibility. That is what touching the mind is about. It is about lifting thought beyond the ordinary into the extraordinary. Consider this: every invention, every transformation, every revolution in history began in the mind. Nothing was built until someone first touched the mind with an idea. And the same applies to relationships and connections. You can hold someone's hand, but unless you reach her mind, the connection remains temporary. When you plant yourself in her thoughts, when you occupy a space in her imagination, you are no longer simply a presence, you become an influence. Influence is powerful because it lingers. Long after the conversation has ended, the words replay. Long after the meeting is over, the thoughts remain. Touching the mind is about becoming unforgettable, not because of appearance, but because of the lasting impression you create with what you awaken inside her thinking. The mind is also the place where decisions are made. Every choice, every agreement, every step forward happens first in thought. So if you want to build a future with someone, if you want to inspire someone, if you want to truly lead, you must begin by influencing the thought process. A woman who feels that you see further than she does will naturally trust your vision. She will align with that direction because her mind recognizes the strength of clarity. When you speak life into her dreams, when you help her see what is possible beyond her doubts, you are touching her mind at the deepest level. That kind of influence cannot be bought, cannot be faked, cannot be replaced. It comes only from authenticity and alignment with truth. Think about how powerful it is when someone makes you see yourself differently. You may have thought you were limited, and then someone spoke a word that unlocked a new perspective. Suddenly, your own mind opens and new doors appear where before there were only walls. That is what it means to touch the mind. It is the act of expanding vision, of breathing possibility into thought, of turning limitations into opportunities. And once that shift happens, the entire future changes. The woman who once doubted herself begins to imagine success. The woman who once feared failure begins to picture progress. And the woman who once felt unseen begins to feel valued because someone dared to speak to her potential instead of just her present condition. Touching the mind is not manipulation. It is not about controlling thought. It is about elevating thought. It is about being the person who brings light where there was confusion, who brings structure where there was chaos, who brings hope where there was despair. The human mind is designed to grow. It craves expansion. When you give it expansion, you become more than just a passing figure in someone's life. You become part of their growth story. And nothing is more powerful than being remembered as the reason someone believed they could go further than they once imagined. The mind is also where attraction deepens beyond the surface. Physical attraction fades, but mental attraction lasts. When a woman realizes that you understand how to feed her intellect, how to stimulate her creativity, how to respect her intelligence, she begins to see you differently. She connects with you not because you demand attention, but because you earn her admiration. That admiration builds a foundation far stronger than charm or appearance. It creates a space where respect, trust, and vision can grow together. When you touch her mind, you move beyond desire into destiny, because now she associates you with growth, with progress, with enlightenment. And people never forget those who help them evolve to the next level of their journey. The heart is the center of all true connection, and when you learn to touch a woman's heart, you move beyond surface level interaction to something far deeper and lasting. The heart is where emotions live, where trust is built, where vulnerability is felt, and where bonds are created that words alone can never explain. A woman wants her heart to be acknowledged, to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, because the heart is her sanctuary. It is the place where she hides her fears, where she guards her dreams, where she stores her disappointments, and where she holds her love. To touch her heart is to step into sacred ground, and when you enter with sincerity, care, and respect, you awaken something inside her that she may not even have realized was waiting for recognition. Touching the heart is not about dramatic gestures or grand performances. It is about authenticity. A woman's heart can feel when words are empty, when actions are forced, and when care is shallow. But it can also feel when kindness is genuine, when attention is real, and when presence is honest. Every little act that shows thoughtfulness, every moment where you listen without distraction, every time you choose to value her feelings instead of dismissing them, you are touching her heart in ways that build lasting memories. The heart remembers not the expensive gifts, but the sincerity behind the gestures. It remembers how you made her feel in the small, quiet moments when no one was watching, when there was nothing to prove. When you touch a woman's heart, you validate her humanity. You remind her that she is more than her appearance, more than her responsibilities, more than the roles she plays in life. You remind her that she is a person with emotions that matter, with feelings that deserve care, with dreams that deserve encouragement. So many people ignore the heart, focusing only on what they can take or what they can gain. But when you choose to give to the heart, when you choose to nurture it, you create trust. And trust is the foundation of any lasting connection. Without trust, nothing lasts, but with it, even the toughest storms can be endured together. The heart is also where healing takes place. Every woman has scars, every woman has endured disappointments, every woman has carried burdens that the outside world may never know. When you touch her heart with compassion, you become part of her healing. You may not erase her past, but you help her reframe it. You show her that not every experience leads to pain, that not every relationship ends in betrayal, that not every connection results in loss. By treating her heart with gentleness, you help restore her faith in love, in trust, in connection. And that restoration makes her see you as more than just a person in her life. You become someone she associates with safety, with peace, with renewal. The heart thrives on appreciation, and appreciation is not about flattery. It is about noticing. When you notice her efforts, when you notice her sacrifices, when you notice the little things she does without asking for recognition, you are telling her heart that she is seen. That simple act of being seen is powerful because the heart fears invisibility. It fears being overlooked, being undervalued, being ignored. When you prove through your actions and words that she is visible, that she matters, that her presence is not taken for granted, her heart opens wider to you. Touching the heart is not about perfection, it is about consistency. It is not about saying the right thing once, but about showing up again and again in ways that affirm your sincerity. The heart pays attention not to isolated moments, but to patterns. If you are kind only when it benefits you, the heart senses it. If you are caring only when convenient, the heart withdraws. But if you show consistency, if you prove reliability, if you demonstrate that your care is not conditional, the heart begins to trust you deeply. And trust leads to loyalty, loyalty leads to intimacy, intimacy leads to connection, and connection leads to something that stands the test of time. When you touch the heart, you create emotional security. A woman wants to feel that with you, she can be herself, that she does not have to pretend, does not have to hide, does not have to mask her truth. She wants to feel that her heart is safe in your presence, that her emotions will not be used against her, that her tears will not be mocked, that her laughter will not be silenced. Emotional safety is the greatest gift you can give a heart, and when you provide it, the heart responds with openness. It responds with love, with warmth, with depth. Think about how powerful it is when someone touches your heart. You never forget it. You never forget the person who made you feel understood when no one else did, the person who believed in you when you doubted yourself, the person who showed up when everyone else left. That memory is engraved in your heart forever. The same is true for a woman. When you give her that kind of emotional presence, she will always remember how you touched her heart. That memory becomes a bond, a connection, a silent acknowledgement that you were different, that you mattered, that you left an imprint no one else could replace. The spirit is the most invisible yet the most powerful place to touch, because it is the essence of who a woman truly is beyond her appearance, beyond her emotions, beyond her thoughts. When you touch her spirit, you are not simply connecting with her on a surface level. You are aligning with her deepest purpose, her hidden strength, her highest calling. The spirit is where her inner fire lives, where her resilience is born, where her dreams are nurtured, and where her sense of meaning resides. To reach her spirit, you must go beyond ordinary gestures, beyond rehearsed words, beyond shallow attention. You must see the part of her that even she may not fully recognize in herself, the part that whispers of her greatness, the part that knows she is destined for more than what she has yet experienced. Touching the spirit requires presence, not performance. It is not about impressing her, it is about awakening her. When you speak to her spirit, you are not flattering her personality, you are reminding her of her power. You are telling her that she is more than her circumstances, more than her struggles, more than her limitations. You are reflecting back to her the truth that she may have forgotten, that she is capable of rising higher, of reaching further, of becoming all that she was created to be. The spirit responds to truth. It responds to vision, it responds to conviction. When you touch the spirit with honesty and inspiration, you set something ablaze within her that no one else can extinguish. The spirit is also where freedom is found. Every woman carries the weight of expectations, the pressure of roles, the demands of society. Often these layers can make her feel trapped, as if she is only allowed to live within the confines of what the world has told her she should be. But when you touch her spirit, you remind her of her freedom to be herself, to rise above those expectations, to live boldly according to her own inner compass. You show her that she does not have to shrink, she does not have to silence her voice, she does not have to dim her light for anyone. You remind her that she was born with a spirit that is limitless, a spirit that cannot be caged, a spirit that was designed for expression, growth, and expansion. When you connect with a woman at the level of spirit, you move past temporary attraction and into eternal influence. You become more than a person she knows. You become a mirror that reflects her divine potential. Imagine the power of being remembered as the one who awakened her spirit, the one who gave her permission to believe in her greatness again, the one who stood by her not only when she was strong, but especially when she was doubting her own strength. That kind of connection lives far beyond the physical world. It enters the realm of legacy. The spirit does not forget who lifted it, who encouraged it, who honored it. Touching the spirit also requires that you elevate your own. You cannot inspire someone to rise if you are unwilling to rise yourself. You cannot encourage someone's faith if you are bound by fear. You cannot awaken someone's courage if you constantly hide behind excuses. To truly reach a woman's spirit, you must first connect with your own. You must be willing to live authentically, to pursue growth relentlessly, to embody the very vision you are asking her to believe in. The spirit resonates with authenticity. It cannot be fooled by masks or pretenses. When you live from your spirit, when your actions are aligned with your truth, you naturally inspire others to do the same. The spirit craves purpose, and when you speak to a woman's spirit, you ignite her sense of purpose. You help her see that her life is not random, that her struggles are not wasted, that her journey is not meaningless. You give her a reason to rise every morning with renewed strength, a reason to persevere when life challenges her, a reason to believe that the future holds more than the past ever did. Purpose is the fuel of the spirit, and when you remind her of that purpose, you are not just motivating her for a moment, you are empowering her for a lifetime. The most extraordinary gift you can give is to remind someone of who they truly are. That is the gift of touching the spirit. It is the gift of reminding her that beneath all the noise, beneath all the doubts, beneath all the pain, there is a core within her that is unshakable, unbreakable, unstoppable. That is her spirit. When you honor it, when you speak to it, when you nurture it, you awaken a power that transforms not only her life, but also the lives of everyone she influences. A woman whose spirit has been touched and awakened becomes a force of nature, bold in her vision, fearless in her pursuit, radiant in her presence, unstoppable in her journey. Change begins when you shift your mindset, because everything you experience, everything you achieve, everything you create in life flows first from the way you think. The mindset is the foundation of your reality, the lens through which you interpret every event, the filter that determines how you respond to opportunities and challenges. If your mindset is small, Your life will feel small. If your mindset is limited, your future will feel limited. But when you decide to expand your thinking, when you choose to believe in possibilities instead of restrictions, your life begins to align with that new perspective. The future is not something that happens by accident. It is something you shape deliberately with your mindset. So many people remain trapped in cycles of frustration, not because they lack ability, but because they refuse to let go of the old patterns of thought that hold them back. They carry beliefs from their past, beliefs that they are not good enough, that success is for other people, that change is impossible for them, and these beliefs quietly sabotage every step they try to take forward. It is not the external world that keeps them stuck, it is the internal world of their mindset. The mind holds on to familiar stories, and unless you interrupt those stories, you repeat them over and over again. Shifting your mindset is about breaking those cycles. It is about deciding that the story you once believed no longer serves you, and that a new story must begin. A future cannot be built on fear. A future cannot be shaped by doubt. If you constantly think about what could go wrong, if you constantly feed your mind with images of failure, if you constantly replay memories of when things didn't work out, you condition yourself to expect more of the same. The mind attracts what it is trained to focus on. A negative mindset pulls negative outcomes, not because the world is against you, but because you interpret every situation through the filter of defeat. On the other hand, when you choose to think possibility, when you choose to look for opportunities, when you choose to believe that life can change in your favor, your actions shift, your energy shifts, your decisions shift, and your results shift. Shifting your mindset requires awareness. You cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. Pay attention to the thoughts that dominate your day. Pay attention to the beliefs that repeat in your mind. Are they lifting you or limiting you? Are they building your confidence or breaking it down? Are they shaping a future you desire or a future you dread? Once you see the patterns, you can replace them. And replacement is powerful. Every time you replace a thought of limitation with a thought of possibility, you strengthen your ability to create a new future. Every time you replace a doubt with a belief, you step closer to transformation. Your mindset also determines how you handle adversity. Life will test you, challenges will come, obstacles will appear, but your response to them is dictated not by the size of the problem, but by the strength of your mindset. Two people can face the same difficulty. One sees it as the end, the other sees it as a beginning. One gives up, the other grows. The difference is not in the challenge itself, but in the mindset brought to that challenge. When you develop a mindset that looks for lessons in failure, that looks for growth in pain, that looks for opportunity in obstacles, you cannot be stopped. Every setback becomes fuel, every delay becomes preparation, every challenge becomes training. The shift in mindset is not something that happens once and never again, it is an ongoing choice. Every day you wake up, you have to decide whether to think small or to think big, whether to live in fear or to live in faith, whether to replay the past or to imagine the future. The more you choose growth, the more growth becomes your natural state. The more you choose courage, the more courage becomes who you are. And over time, your mindset creates momentum, and momentum builds a future far greater than anything you once imagined. It is also important to recognize that your environment reflects your mindset. The people you surround yourself with, the conversations you entertain, the information you consume, all of it shapes your thinking. If you want to change your mindset, you must also change your environment. Surround yourself with voices that speak life, with people who challenge you to grow, with environments that reflect possibility. The mind is impressionable, and it will absorb whatever is repeated to it. If you feed it negativity, it will shrink. If you feed it possibility, it will expand. A future is not waiting somewhere out there. It is being built right now in the present moment with the mindset you carry. Every thought is a brick. Every belief is a beam. Every perspective is a foundation stone. If you build with doubt, your future will crumble. If you build with faith, your future will stand strong. You cannot separate your mindset from your destiny because the two are inseparable. The person who changes their mindset changes their entire trajectory. The person who refuses to change their mindset repeats the same patterns, no matter how much they wish for something different. The way you choose to think and act today is the blueprint of the life you will live tomorrow. The present moment is not just a passing second, it is the workshop of your future. Every decision you make, every belief you accept, every action you take is like a seed planted in the soil of time, and that seed will grow into the reality you will one day experience. Many people underestimate the power of today because they are either stuck in the past or too focused on the distant future. But the truth is that the only time you ever truly have is right now. And the way you use this moment determines what kind of future will unfold for you. If you carry old fears and doubts into today, you are already shaping a tomorrow filled with hesitation and missed opportunities. If you choose to fill today with procrastination and excuses, you are creating a future that looks exactly like your present situation. But when you use today to think differently, when you use today to act with intention, when you use today to break the cycle of old habits, you set into motion a completely new direction for your life. The future is not random. It is not waiting to surprise you. It is responding to who you are being right now. So many people say they want change, but they wait for the future to deliver it. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for luck.